What's up, everybody, and welcome back. This week I'm bringing you another nitpick video. If this is your first time joining, these are videos where I just kind of go through the video game industry of my past, maybe in my future, we'll see. And I just talk about things that kind of bother me a little bit, things I don't love. I'd like to maybe see more of something that I don't get enough of. But yeah, keeping it video game related, talking about nitpicks. I'm going to get right into it on this one. My nitpick this week, this episode: random battles, okay? Randomly generated battles, they're just another way to extend a video game, right? That's all they are. Make it longer. And it was a way, I'm definitely going to do another episode at some point. Not sure exactly when, but I will be doing another one of these on another nitpick that kind of relates to this, but we're not going to get into that one right now. But this is a way to just make the game harder, make it longer, worth your money, I suppose. Unless you're me, I guess. Not a fan of games that do this. And as I've gotten older, I've become less and less of a fan of these games. Now, thankfully, this nitpick does come with a little backside to the coin, and that is there are less and less of these happening now because of technology, probably, because of consumers like me, maybe. I don't know. Don't have all the research. This isn't a research video. This isn't a research podcast. This is me just talking about what bothers me in games and why. And this one, I just kind of pick it apart because Final Fantasy, one of the video game series that I would love to love, killed me because of this. I wanted to be a Final Fantasy fan. Very short anecdote, but I had a roommate who introduced me to Final Fantasy, and it was great. I very much enjoyed it. Final Fantasy X was my first Final Fantasy experience, and great game, amazing PS2 title, still on the top list for a lot of people out there as far as Final Fantasy games go. However, tons of random battles, tons and tons of them. So I actually had a very big annoyance to this. He knew that. And he helped me out, and he threw the Game Shark in there. If you guys don't know what the Game Shark is, go check it out. Cheat codes for disc-based titles back in the day. A lot like your Game Genies. And he put a cheat code in, got rid of random battles. I continued to play the game. I enjoyed the game. I beat the game. I had a good time. But knowing that I had to change the game or do something outside of what the game wanted me to do turned me off. I did not want to play that series anymore. I didn't want to play those style games anymore because they were just constant repetition. You walk 5 steps and you're in another fight, and you don't know what you're going to fight, so then you got to change your loadout or who you're going to fight with based on something you're not 100% sure who or what you're going to be fighting. And it was just a way to level your character up, but more so it was just a way to make the game seem like a 50-hour game when it was like maybe a 20-hour game. Or maybe a 10-hour game. I can't tell you how long it took me to beat it without doing random battles, but I definitely know it was quicker. That kind of goes without saying, but I really did want to enjoy that game, that series. I have recently started playing Final Fantasy again, but guess what? I'm not playing those style games. I am playing the new action RPG ones, so I can go around and just do whatever. The random battles, if you still want to say they're in there, and I'm sure we could all really pick this apart. I don't nitpick too hard, okay? Maybe one day I'll get there. I got to work toward it. But the whole situation with the games now is, yeah, you do get into a lot of battles. The difference, I find them much more fun. They're action-oriented. There's some story potentially happening in them. The characters look cool. The enemies look cool. All the things that's happening keeps you engaged. It's not just a static standstill, them little bouncing around, their knees bobbing, and you throw a spell or, you call in an Aeon or whatever, right? Those things, aren't as cool. They're just not. So this was just a way to go, hey, I want this game to be 3 times as long, so let's do this, right? You change the difficulty. It just added more of the random battles because you needed more XP to beat said bad guys. And I'm like, get rid of that. Like, make it an option. Like, what is wrong with a world that has accessibility? to shut that off, you know? That could be a totally another nitpick video for me. But random battles have killed so many potential good games for me. They're great games for other people. These are my nitpicks. So if they're not yours, that's great. But if they are yours, let's talk about it. Even if they're not, you know, I want to know your guys' opinions and why you enjoy them. Maybe it'll change my mind. That's why I'm doing these videos, just to get it out in the air and on the airwaves, and let's talk about it. But you know, I've played some newer ones. Dragon Quest XI was my newest that I did play. That wasn't bad. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would have, but it also has the ability to kind of avoid random battles because they're not random as much now. You can see the enemies, you can walk around them. I mean, that's a big deal. Chrono Trigger was on Super Nintendo before I played Final Fantasy X, and on Chrono Trigger, you can dodge things to fight. You don't have to fight them. Super Mario RPG, you could see them. These were Super Nintendo titles. You could walk around them and not fight them. So leave it to me. Like whether I have to, you know, maneuver around them in a game or whether I can shut random battles off in a setting in the game that's there because they know not everybody wants that, do that, you know? If you shut it off, just make XP from all the other enemies you fight just a little bit more so it still balances out the game to where you can still finish the game. But it doesn't drag down and create this like monotonous repetition of over and over and over. What are we doing? Why am I continuing to do this? This isn't fun, sort of thing. Now I can admit I'm not a chess player. This is probably something I'm assuming that is more ingrained in people that enjoy these turn-based games because they're more like methodical and like well thought out and all that kind of stuff. And for me, like I just want to get in there and fight, have a good time, you know, one of those, right? And sitting and waiting for the enemy to do its thing, and then sitting and waiting for my character to do its thing, and having to do that 3 or 4 times sometimes, even longer, obviously. You get some of these battles are 10, 20 minutes long on some of them, depending on the games you're playing. So that's just not fun. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to play the game. I want to see the cool stuff. I want to investigate. I want to go adventure. You know, I don't have to be in an action RPG all the time. I don't have to be running and jumping and bouncing around and everything. Because you don't do that in the Final Fantasy games. Like, you don't. You walk around. You're just doing your thing, you know? You do cool stuff when you occasionally get some kind of a power-up or an ability. But it's like once in a blue moon. Like, you don't get it all the time. So I prefer action RPGs. I don't want turn-based as much, and I absolutely do not want random battles in my games. Like, they are just a time suck. Video games already take enough time to play. Being a parent, being a husband, and, you know, a member of society, you know, I'm not a shut-in. I don't have all the time in the world to play these games, so I would like to play them to where they're at the utmost fun and the utmost importance in my video game library. And when they have random battles, I'm out. Like, I just don't want to play them. I don't think I would say I hate them. I'm sure there's probably a game out there that I haven't played that has an amazing story that I want to see because I love stories in my games. But I don't know what that game is because I don't like random battle games. I'm not going to take a chance at $70 or $60 to play one of those or pay for it. And honestly, a lot of the friends and family that play games that are in my circle don't play them either. They're not their bag. Which like I said again at the beginning, like there's a lot of games out there that are not doing this anymore because I really truly feel it's just not a thing people want anymore. Like, they've figured a better way out to make video games fun and less boring. And that was one of the things they got rid of. You can see it very clearly in the newest Final Fantasy 16. I've played the demo of that. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. I do want to play that one because the story is killer. It hooked me. But again, I gotta have time. But that game's not even turn-based in any way anymore. Like, it took Final Fantasy 15 and just went way nuts when they went to 16. They got really hardcore into this story and action. And those two things are all we need. And I couldn't agree more. Give me story, give me action. That's what I want. And I think we're going to see less and less of these random battle games. I don't think this is one of those that's going to come back eventually because maybe on a mobile device, a mobile platform. I'm not a big mobile gamer. There's more of them out there, because you can pick them up and play them and stop at kind of any time and pick them back up and start right where you stopped. There's not a lot of action going on. So you can just kind of take your time at them. That is literally the only benefit I can think of for random battles in video games, or a video game that is based around that, or like, a strategy game, or, anything like a tactics game, because they're quick pick up and play if you enjoy that style of gameplay. I think you really have a win in your hands for those fans being able to use a mobile device or even devices over the cloud that don't require a perfect latency, right? So that's a really good thing for them to be around for, and for the fans still. But I don't see them becoming like mainstream again, more or less is what I'm saying. It's just, I don't think it's in the cards. There's too many things happening with video games, and the processing and the ability that they can do now, especially in a AAA fashion, they're just too good. So they don't have to rely on making the game feel like it's longer, or making it feel like you got your $70. Like, you can turn on God of War and play God of War for an hour, and just everything they've done visually and storytelling and gameplay is like, yep, this is worth my money. Like, I already feel like this is worth my money. And you only play that game for 20 or 30 hours like me, and you still feel like, yeah, it was worth $70. I do not have a complaint in the world about it. That's fantastic. And I know there'd be people who'd be upset if they picked up a turn-based game that was random battles all over the place and they beat it in 10 hours. They'd be like, this is garbage. They want you to extend it out. They want more of the random battles. They're the fans of it. I would take that. I would absolutely take a 10-hour random battle game that I can play that has a great story, and let me out. That's good. So pick up and play. It doesn't cost $70. At least it shouldn't. If it did cost $70, then those people who paid $70 should be upset. But yeah, that's my nitpick. Random battles in video games. What do you guys think about them? I'm really curious to know your thoughts on it. Not a fan over here. Again, like I said, I don't hate them, but I do take them into account every time I'm looking at a game I'm interested in, and that is always a turnoff for me. So tell me in the comments below. Send us an email in. Let me know what you think. I'm really curious to know what you guys think of this, because I'm wondering. Like, there's not a lot of statistics out there about it. There's not a lot of games doing this anymore, so you don't hear it talked about a whole lot. But felt like it was time to bring it up. I've been thinking about talking about this one for a while, and it's always been a nitpick since, like I said, 2001, I believe, was Final Fantasy X. So ever since then, it's just been a real big nitpick for me. And let me know what your nitpick is, whether you agree with me or disagree, and why. I would love to talk about it. So hit us up, comments below. Until next time, thanks everybody out there for watching. Game on, volume up, and stay loud.